What's up, guys? Welcome back to Talking Up Sports. I'm Jeff,
I'm Ronnie.
and today we're going to be going over the AFC fantasy football. We're going to forecast the fantasy season in the AFC. We're going to go over some guys, each team. We're going to go through the divisions and talk about some guys on each team. I guess we're going to start off in the AFC East, and we're going to start off in Buffalo.
Quarterback for the Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen, somebody that could be interesting. Definitely need to see some of his wide receivers and what they are, who's going to start, who's going to be their number one.
Yeah, if he can build some chemistry with some of these guys they're bringing in. John Brown, Cole Beasley, those are new faces in Buffalo. And they still have Zay Jones and Robert Foster. He flashed big at the end of last year. So we'll see if Josh Allen can build some chemistry with them. Josh Allen, he put up some points last year with his legs, and that was impressive to me.
He did. I think he had like the most rushing touchdowns of all quarterbacks, I think.
Yeah, and that really wasn't the note on him coming out of college. He wasn't really known for his running ability, but he flashed that. Really, because he was having to run for his life behind that terrible offensive line.
It got kind of crazy out there, man.
Yeah.
It was horrible. It was kind of sad watching it unfold, but, man, I feel like he handled it well. And if they can, fix some of those issues on the offensive line, get through some of these wide receivers, work some of these young guys in, and find a true number one, somebody that's going to help complement what John Brown, Cole Beasley is going to do
to the table.
Yes, for them.
Another victim of that horrible offensive line was LaShawn McCoy last year.
Yes.
He took a big step back last year. Didn't really help fantasy owners too much. That probably invested a high pick in him. He didn't really return on that investment. That's why they're bringing in Frank Gore, Frank the Tank, baby.
Frank the Tank.
Yeah.
I'd
see what they can squeeze out of the 49-year-old Frank Gore here at the latter stages of his career. Hey, but these guys are legends, you know.
They are.
Fantasy legends. LaShawn McCoy, Frank Gore. But are they going to be legends in 2019?
I don't know. Are they going to take the back seat to Devin Singletary?
Devin Singletary.
They've nicknamed the Motor.
Motor?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I haven't heard much about him.
Man, that first game that they played, everybody thought very, very highly of them, on the Bills anyway. I think we're going to see him a little bit this year.
Okay.
LaShawn McCoy, Frank Gore, whether or not their bodies are going to be
Hold
where
up
they
for
need it to
16
be,
games,
or whether or not they get, one of them gets shipped off.
Basically, every guy on this team, there's not one person on this team that I would feel comfortable drafting, like, in my league. Maybe
I don't know. I guess
John
it depends
Brown.
on the type of league that you're in. But if you're talking about one of these,
I mean, the running backs are going to get drafted
type deals. No,
but
I can see.
Not by me this year. All right, Miami Dolphins. We're going to talk about their quarterback situation. The Ryan Fitzpatrick. That's who they brought in. They traded for Josh Rosen. This is going to be a bit of a quarterback battle. It hasn't been decided yet, but I'm liking Fitzpatrick. What about you, Ron?
I do too. I think, like you said, he's the veteran guy. He's proved himself in these types of situations. I can't remember a good situation that he's been brought into to be the starter.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's that guy that does well under fire, I think, and can manage the game as needed.
And maybe Rosen can learn a thing or two because, he got thrown into the fire last year in Arizona. Didn't really have a strong veteran presence to learn from, and he got thrown out there and really looked rattled and didn't look good.
I think he can learn a lot from Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick, a guy that's not scared to make a mistake.
And he's shown that he can be valuable in fantasy formats. Last year, he was number one quarterback the first 4 weeks of the season. So
yeah, he
torched the Saints. I don't know if you remember that game, Ronnie.
Moving on from him.
Yeah, let's not talk about him even.
Their wide receivers out there: Devontae Parker, Kenny Stills, Albert Wilson. 3 guys that, I mean, we need to see it
Yeah.
to believe it.
They got to show us something.
Fitzpatrick is going to have to get it to one of those guys. And Devontae Parker, I think they're talking about trying to make him the guy.
He was the sexy pick last year. It didn't work out. He didn't show much. Stills had a lot better season. He's going to be the guy that if you're going to draft one of these receivers, it's probably going to be Stills. And you're not going to feel super comfortable about it, I believe. I wouldn't. Running back, Kenyon Drake is there. He's a guy who has some name value in fantasy leagues. He's proven himself valuable. But I'm interested in Kalen Ballage. That's the guy I'm going to be targeting. I think he is going to break out and steal the show there.
Very possibly could. Very possibly could. I think he's got bit better hands than Drake does.
Right.
But Drake is capable. He's shown that. He's carried that backfield before. So 50-50 split, I think, is where that's going to wind up heading.
Right.
Defense, nothing to talk about.
Tight end, nothing really to talk about either. Mike Gesicki, I mean, he looked good coming out of college. Didn't really do much last year. I think tight end is going to be a position you're going to want to avoid on Miami.
Definitely.
Another team with some tight end questions, New England Patriots. Tom Brady's favorite weapon, Rob Gronkowski. He's off to greener pastures. He's retired. And where are those targets going to go?
Well, they got Benjamin Watson there, but I think he's suspended for the first 4 games.
Yeah.
So they traded for Michael Roberts from the Detroit Lions.
Right.
And again, I mean, there's not really anything to be excited there about.
Steven Anderson is a guy that could be in that Gronkowski mold. He's a fast guy. I think he could emerge and steal some looks from Brady. But it's mainly going to be the wide receiving core that's going to benefit from Gronk being gone.
Yes.
And that's, of course, led by Julian Edelman.
Always.
Yep. That's
PPR monster. I
Yeah.
mean, somebody that you know, everyone wants that kind of receiver on their team. Just someone that's going to get those 7 to 11 targets in a game. Guy that he has a lot of wiggle to him, athleticism.
Yeah.
He's going to make it happen for Tom Brady. They have a great connection with one another, and he's definitely the wide receiver to be looking at Miami. Philip Dorsett.
Yeah.
Another guy that I think he's going to do well out there.
Yeah. Dorsett, he flashed some last year. Didn't really do as much as Cordero Patterson, I thought. I mean, Patterson looked better, but he's gone. So you got Dorsett. They drafted a wide receiver in the first round, which they haven't done forever. They drafted N'Keal Harry from Arizona, and he looks sharp. They've brought in Demaryius Thomas, who's coming off an Achilles injury. Maybe he can
where that's going to go, need to keep an eye on that because he could also wind up having a pretty good connection, I feel.
Yeah.
Whether or not Josh Gordon's going to get reinstated, that's a wish-washy thing. New England is interested in it.
Yeah, I'm saying he'll be a free agent if he gets reinstated, right?
No, I think they hold the rights to him. I think they still do, and I think they've come out and said that they're willing to give him another chance. Yeah,
well, that's good.
It's just all about whether or not the NFL is going to let that happen.
That's very Bill Belichick-y. Bill Belichick-y thing to do.
Yeah. Talk about some of the running backs that they have over there.
We'll be here all night, folks.
We very well could be.
They got Sony Michel.
Is he going to be
the
guy out there, or?
I think he's the thumper. He's the down one back. He's going to get the first carry, I believe.
I really think they're going to do like what they've done the few past years and just
run out a fresh body every drive.
Just game planning for each team, accordingly as to what that team's weakness is. I mean, rolling out with James White.
There's going to be Sony Michel games. There's going to be James White games.
Yeah.
There's going to be Burkhead games.
Exactly.
They drafted Damian Harris from Alabama, another stud. Yeah. There's talent in that backfield. Burkhead, I mean, he was someone you drafted high last year.
Don't talk about that.
Don't remind you.
Don't talk about that.
And I drafted James White. That's why I won the league.
My goodness.
Yep. Moving on to the New York Jets. 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 And Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold
is back under center for his second year.
Man, I think he's gonna do well. I really do.
Yeah.
Once the season starts, Robbie Anderson, somebody I'll definitely going to take a look at.
Yeah. He looked good last year,
especially right at the end of the year.
Yeah.
I think he
was a touchdown machine.
He was
getting touchdowns pretty much every game.
I don't think any wide receiver outscored him fantasy-wise in the last 3 games, in between 14 and 16. So he's definitely the number one guy. What's his name? Jamison Crowder.
They brought in Jamison Crowder from Redskins. He was a proven commodity in the slot, someone that could definitely help Darnold along in his progression in the league. You got Quincy Enunwa on the outside, guy who's also proven to be a fantasy commodity.
Oh, yeah.
He could put up points for you if you need him, if you draft him.
So I think their wide receivers are going to kind of be something interesting, something to look at.
Yeah.
Especially
make it to where you can't stack the box on Le'Veon Bell.
Exactly.
Their new running back, their newest toy. Back after his sabbatical last year. Tell me about that sabbatical he took last year, Ron.
Man, that's just another sad story. I wrote it out, hoping for the best, and come week 10, I think it was, we already bit the bullet that long, so we just hung on with it with
right.
with our dynasty that we play in.
Yeah.
But I think I think it's going to be not what we got out of him in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to be incredibly horrible. I do feel like they're going to give him the ball that 350 times a year.
Yeah. I mean, they did.
He just has too much ability.
They also brought in Ty Montgomery, who could third down back, may steal some looks from him.
Man, I would.
But you're confident Le'Veon Bell is going to be a 3-down back?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And when they do bring in a guy, I think it's definitely going to be McGuire.
Yeah. He was on my team last year as well.
Yeah. I mean, he's somebody that I think the Jets feel comfortable with, and when they do need to spell Bell, he is definitely going to get the nod at that.
Right. Tight end, nothing. They have nothing.
Man, Christopher Herndon.
Oh, Herndon.
He is suspended
for
the first couple games, first 4, I think.
Sure.
But he is somebody that connected with Sam Darnold well.
Yeah.
I mean, I reaped on some of that last year.
I did start him in another league as well, a couple games. So, yeah, I forgot about Herndon.
There was a few games where he put a touchdown each game. I mean,
yeah.
Yards not necessarily there, but touchdowns. He was definitely a guy that he's looking at in the red zone.
Gotcha.
Going now to the AFC West.
We're going west.
Going west.
All right.
And we'll talk about the Denver Broncos.
Denver Broncos. This team right here. Yeah. Those guys.
Definitely going to be a run team.
Yeah.
Especially with Joe Flacco over there. I think it's going to look a lot like what Baltimore has in the past couple years.
Yeah.
Not somebody. I'm probably not looking at Joe Flacco at all.
Yeah. He's shown himself to be someone you don't want on your teams. If you can avoid Joe Flacco, you're going to. But if you're in a pinch, sometimes you can start him.
Yeah, he's just one of those streamer guys where
he has some good weapons though this year.
He does
compared to what he's had in Baltimore.
But what scares me is Sanders. He had
coming off an injury.
He's coming off of that Achilles. So where is he going to be at?
Cortland Sutton,
Deshaun Hamilton.
Yeah, those are some fancy young weapons they have down there, and they put up some stats at the end of last year. Sutton, I think he has some tremendous upside.
They do.
Yeah,
they do. I don't necessarily hate them. I just cannot get excited about Flacco, man.
Yeah.
I just can't, and that just bothers me. So again, just it's a run heavy deal out there.
You're gonna want to look at the running backs, and they got a couple that are shiny.
They are, and the more and more I think preseason goes on, we're gonna start seeing a split in between those two guys.
Yeah,
Royce
Definitely.
Freeman and
Phillip Lindsay was the star last year. He won a lot of guys some leagues. If you were able to pick him up after that huge week 1 he had last year, then Phillip Lindsay was a very valuable running back.
Well, Freeman went down. Wasn't Freeman?
No, Freeman didn't go down. He wasn't injured. No, Lindsay just stole the show.
He just stole it, huh?
Yeah, he came in undrafted. They had Freeman, which was a second-round pick, and he stole all his reps and really cemented himself as the number 1 there. But they're saying Freeman's looking good so far in camp, and he's coming back for that spot that kind of got snatched from him. It's going to be a competition between those guys.
They also picked up Theo Riddick.
Yeah.
And I've been seeing a lot of stuff saying that they're really thinking about using him on that as that third down passing attack.
Well, that's Theo Riddick. That's his whole career.
That's him. So where he comes into it, I mean, it's really hard to say where those guys are all going to be at and how that's going to wind up shaping up. Now, does that hurt Lindsay and Freeman's stock? I mean, does this push them down just knowing that they're saying they're going to give Freeman a chance? I mean,
yeah, I'm not going to draft them that high. Like if they're there if Phillip Lindsay's there in the 5th round, then I'll start taking a look. But I think he'll be gone by then. And I don't feel comfortable drafting him that high with Freeman lurking. Freeman, if he's there in the 6th or 7th round, I'll take a look at him there. Which I'm probably going to end up with Freeman more than I'll end up with Lindsay on my teams.
Well, I know what you mean because I do think there's going to be quite a few people that are going to jump up there and take Phillip Lindsay now. Depending on what kind of running backs are still on the board, I mean, I don't know. I could probably jump out there in round 4 and do it just because I know, especially our league that we're in, it's a running back top-heavy type deal. So, where do you see Sanders being drafted at?
I mean, coming off the Achilles, and with Joe Flacco, I mean, it's about the same kind of quarterback situation he's had the last couple of years.
Yeah.
I'd feel comfortable with him as my wide receiver 3 or 4. I wouldn't want him
being a number 1, number 2 guy.
No.
I mean, nuh-uh.
Yeah, he's a depth guy at this point. You're not going to draft him too high.
He's just a filler.
Yeah.
Bye week, man.
Yes, sir.
Streaming option. On to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yes.
There's quite a bit to talk about there. First and foremost, Mr. Mahomes.
Yeah, last year's fantasy MVP, I think. He lit it up.
Just went absolutely crazy.
Bonkers.
You think he's going to stay on the top of that mountain where everybody has him right now? Or, it's kind of hard throwing 50 touchdowns a year.
He still has the weapons that he had last year. Sans Kareem Hunt, he went. But, he performed without Kareem Hunt in the second half of the season. He's got Damian Williams,
Carlos Hyde.
They're going to be a running back by committee, I believe, but you'd feel comfortable starting either one of those guys in a pinch. And he has the same weapons on the outside as well, Tyreek Hill.
Sammy Watkins. Again, Chris Conley. He's gone.
Yeah.
He is gone.
He probably had
But they're talking about this DeMarcus Robinson that is stepping right into where Chris Conley was and producing in the same way.
He made some plays last year for him as well. Travis Kelce, number 1 tight end.
just a freak of a tight end.
He's almost as good as Zach Ertz, I'd say.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And having
they're 1-2 in fantasy.
Just close your eyes and pick one.
Yep.
Yeah, Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. Mahomes back there doing his thing. I think those two receiving options that he has just kind of makes Sammy Watkins a little better. Definitely, I've never really been too high on Sammy Watkins, but injury prone.
Yeah. Where he's going right now, though, I think is a pretty good value. If you can get him in that 5th or 6th round, I'd rather have Sammy Watkins and his potential over going for Tyreek Hill that early in the 2nd round.
Yeah.
Or even late 1st round in some leagues. He's getting drafted, and he's a small guy, man. He could go down at any point.
He could, but man, his big playability just and having Travis right there in the middle, kind of taking a lot of the heat off of him. He can just open it up, and Mahomes shows his arm all the time. So I mean, he's not scared to let it go down the field. Those guys, I think. I don't know. I don't think they're as freakishly good as they were last year, but I can still see them winning 10 games.
The floor is definitely high for them.
Yes.
For Kansas City, all of their options. You're going to want to pick up one of those guys if you can.
They're definitely playing in a division where the next team here, the Los Angeles Chargers, are more than likely, I think, taking a step forward, barring their running back situation.
Yeah. Gordon looking like he's going to hold out, right?
It's definitely looking like it. Just, something that I don't really agree with, but, to each their own. Melvin Gordon, definitely a 1st round pick.
If he's there.
If he's there. But, I'm
not so sure he won't be traded. I think he's going to end up getting traded.
Well, that's what I feel about a lot of these guys that are doing that. I think the NFL, after seeing what we saw last year with Bell, it's just too. You're leaving too much on the table there. I mean, go ahead and get you something now.
Yeah.
His backups are definitely not
him.
Not Melvin Gordon,
but
they are somebody that can can produce.
Right. Austin Eckler.
He's somebody that is definitely showing his worth. Justin Jackson. Doing
I had
his
him
thing.
At the end of last year. He helped me win fantasy league, not our league, but another league that I won last year. He was a huge help when Melvin Gordon went down at the end of last year.
Keenan Allen. The receiving core.
Phillip Rivers has some targets there. Allen and Mike Williams. I had Mike Williams last year. I've had Keenan Allen in the past. I mean, they put up stats.
Yeah.
They find the end zone.
Without Gates there, it's kind of like Keenan Allen is that Antonio Gates-esque person for him. Yeah.
Hunter
Henry
back from his injury.
Everybody is starting to creep up a little more and a little more, it seems, every week.
Right.
I think eventually, by the time the season starts, I think he is going to be one of those probably in the top 6 tight end wise that people are really going to be trying to draft and go after.
Absolutely. So we can go ahead and move on to Oakland.
Again, a scary type situation.
Yeah.
Could be. A lot of questions out there.
A lot of new faces in that receiving core.
A whole lot of them. One that doesn't even like to show his face really too much out in Oakland.
Yeah. He's dealing with frostbite, dealing with helmet issues. He says he's going to retire if he can't get his old helmet back.
And I just really don't understand how they're going to try to get through that. I mean, I watched a video shortly earlier today.
Yeah.
And he is basically came out again and said, I don't need football. If they're not going to let me play with my helmet, I mean, he says he doesn't need football, he doesn't need money, he doesn't need anything.
And that's the cue, That's the cue for Antonio Brown. Hey, you need to get your ass on the field and play some football and quit being a diva receiver. Quit showing your TO, your Randy Moss. Yeah, you're in Oakland. Like Randy Moss went to Oakland. But, hey, you're not a diva. Come on, you're a baller. Get on the field.
He in some way, shape, or form, just buckles it up and says, okay, give me that new helmet. Let me show you what I can do. I don't think he's lost anything.
No.
You could probably cut the bottom of the man's feet off where the frostbite is, and I think he would still work through it and be there. Just too much talent to not do anything with.
Definitely.
Tyrell Williams on the other
coming
side.
over from the divisional rival Chargers. He's been someone that's put up stats in the past with Phillip Rivers. Derek Carr's getting some experienced receivers here.
He is.
Yeah, that have worked with great quarterbacks. Antonio Brown with Roethlisberger, Tyrell Williams with Rivers, and let's see what he can do with
There's
his
also
new toys.
Another receiver, Hunter Renfrow.
Yeah.
They've said that he is going to be the slot man, and I kind of want to see where that goes too. Going to the running back, Josh Jacobs.
Another Bama boy. Yeah.
It's his show to lose.
Yeah. He's a big, fast bruiser, man.
They said he is definitely going to have to earn it. Now, with the competition that he has there, I don't really think that there's going to be a lot slowing him down.
Right.
But
still got Doug Martin. Still got Jalen Richard. Still got DeAndre Washington. And those guys shouldn't be in his way. He's a stud.
Yeah. I don't see any reason why Josh Jacobs isn't the guy out there.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Richard coming in on the passing downs, the third
Would you
downs.
feel comfortable drafting him high in drafts though, because he's going in late second, early third round in most leagues?
Man, honestly, no. I would. I guess that all depends on if Antonio Brown's going to be there.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, if he's going to get the double team, which is good. It normally takes one of those guys out of the box. No, I couldn't. No, I couldn't do 2 or 3, even in a draft like ours. You get a lot of guys kept in the first round, which usually is a lot of running backs. So people start grabbing them, but I couldn't do it.
I think I'd stay away from Josh Jacobs as well. All right. Moving on to the AFC South, we're going to start off with the Houston Texans.
Yeah, a lot of excitement for Deshaun Watson, I guess in the same way that everybody has for Mahomes.
Yeah.
Just another guy that's going to be chunking the ball around to one of the best wide receivers in the NFL.
Definitely top tier guy, first round, DeAndre Hopkins.
Throw it his way.
Yeah.
I mean, he's that guy. And if it's not there, Deshaun Watson done showed you, he'll take off with it. And, man.
He's got those skills as well.
Honestly, I kind of like Deshaun Watson a little more than I do Patrick Mahomes.
Wow.
And, man, I say that just solely based off of running.
Right.
I mean, his rushing. I mean, Mahomes takes off and does his thing, but man, I think Deshaun is gonna. I think he's gonna try to carry the load on this team.
He's gonna have to. I mean, well, Hopkins is there. I mean, but the running game is Lamar Miller. Yeah, he's been brutal to watch these last couple of years. You're always waiting for him to break out, and he just runs right into the back of the offensive line.
He does. I mean, he starts off, good, for the first half of the year, but he is getting older. He is at the I don't want to say end of his career, but I mean, it's shaping up that way.
That's why I'm excited about the trade they made this week to acquire Duke Johnson from the Browns. That was a pretty big trade. And I think Duke Johnson could be someone that could carry the load.
Really help that team. I mean,
I don't think he's just a third down back.
I don't think he is either. Yeah. He's probably going to start off that way.
Right.
But as the season progresses, I think Duke Johnson is going to take the lead there. Maybe try to save Lamar Miller for the end of the year.
You got to think about. I read last year that Alfred Blue had 170 touches for the Texans last year.
Yeah,
and those are gone now.
It was
Blue's not there.
Yeah.
Anymore. Those are going to go to Duke
sure.
Johnson, who is way more talented than Alfred Blue, in my opinion. And I'm an LSU fan. Go Tigers.
Yeah, I mean, Blue it was hard watching him out there. I mean, it really was. Going to their wide receivers, of course, like we said, DeAndre Hopkins, no need. I mean, he's, like we said, just throw it his way.
Healthy Will Fuller.
Exactly.
Coming into this year. He got hurt at the end of last year, but I think he's ready to go now.
Kiki is probably the number 3 guy for sure.
He got hurt in the preseason game the other day.
He did, but they said he avoided any kind of major injury, so it looked bad. It looked way worse than what it was, the way he came off the field. But all the reports are saying that he's squared up. He's good to go. He may not play this coming up game, but just
he'll be ready for the regular season.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He's someone I would target at the end of draft, especially in PPR leagues. I think Kuti is gonna come through for some drafters this year.
Their defense. Stout, same as always.
J.J. Watt. Yeah.
Somebody that one of the top 8 ones. I mean, definitely somebody that's going to be targeted.
Right. Indianapolis. Andrew Luck.
Is he
healthy?
No, he's not.
He's not.
It's his calf.
Uh-huh.
Luck is not so lucky when it comes to injuries.
Definitely not.
But this is probably just a huge, precautionary for, they don't want to lose him again because we all saw what happened with the whole neck thing. And
just make sure he's good enough to try out there week 1 and roll the dice then. No reason rolling him out in the preseason for –
No. Don't do it. Just let him go.
Right.
Week 1, let it happen. T.Y. Hilton.
T.Y. Hilton.
Somebody that, I don't know, one of those round 3 type guys typically.
Yeah.
Around that area.
That's someone I'm targeting. Could be your potential wide receiver 1 if you go running back. Like a lot of teams like to do. So.
He's got Funches on the other side of him now.
Yeah, Devin Funches.
And they're talking pretty good. Yeah, talking pretty well about him. As to their other receivers out there,
Zach Pascal.
Pascal. I forgot all about him actually.
Yeah, he had some good.
He did
good games last year. Paris Campbell. That's who you were going.
Yeah, Paris Campbell. That's who I was trying to. I think he's got a little hamstring issue right now, but I think he's.
I heard they were saying about moving him around where they were running Naheem Hines last year and like letting him be kind of like a wide receiver slot / third down back. Like he could play both positions, line him up in the backfield on third downs.
Well, I need to check on him a little bit.
Yeah.
Didn't know that. We've got a couple tight ends out there that a lot of people played with last year.
I had Eric Ebron for quite a bit of the season, and he really paid dividends if you took a flyer on him because he really outplayed his draft position last year. He's going to be drafted pretty high this year.
Yeah, he did. Mm-hmm. And Jack Doyle.
Yeah, he was hurt from us last year, and that benefited Ebron.
Yes, I mean, that's where it comes from. But now you got both of these guys that are going to be healthy. It says Jack Doyle, he was actually had hip and kidney surgery. So
that's not good.
Yeah, that's
hip surgery.
Ooh, yeah.
At his age?
Kidney surgery.
Surgery. At his age?
Yeah. So, even more of a reason I think that
Eric Ebron.
Ebron is the guy that I'd probably wind up going with.
Yeah. The running backs, Marlon Mack.
It's straight up Marlon Mack. I mean, that's just the way it's going to go.
I feel like they could be a team that could be a landing spot for Melvin Gordon if they're going to unload him.
Yeah.
The Colts should probably take a look at that.
I thought Marlon Mack held himself pretty well for.
Yeah.
And I thought the Colts were.
There's just nothing about him that stands out to me. Like I don't think about Marlon.
Well, he's
Mack.
definitely not that shiny guy that everybody thinks of. But I think I don't want to say they're heavily invested in him, but I think he's on the right track. I think he's on the right track to really show something this year.
Yeah. Let's move on to Jacksonville. Let's go ahead and go on to Jacksonville.
Nick
Foles, yes, he's back in a starting role. Nick Foles is with Jacksonville Jaguars. They gave him the big contract, and I'm ready to see what he can do. He's definitely an upgrade on Blake Bortles.
He definitely. He's just going to have to bring some of that magic that he had up there in Philly down there to Florida with him.
Definitely. He's got some wide receivers.
He does. He does have some wide receivers. Looking at all those guys.
Marquise Lee, D.D. Westbrook, DJ Chark. They're bringing in Chris Conley from Kansas City.
A lot of those guys.
Cole.
Yeah.
Terrell Pryor. I mean, that's a lot of wide receivers.
There are. So it's going to be there for him, and who he establishes himself with is yet to be seen. But I would definitely need to keep your eyes on who's going to be the guy out there.
Right.
Leonard Fournette. I think they're going to try to make him the 3-down guy. Stick him in there, and whatever happens.
Like, hey, show us you can hold up.
Yeah.
For 16 games, because we're going to give you the workload.
Yeah.
This is your chance to, rise or shine.
I think they're just going to feed him to death. I really do.
Yeah.
Whatever.
He's fallen out of the first round in most drafts this year. I mean, he's someone that's going in the second round. And he has a lot to prove. He was a first round guy the last couple of years. So Fournette, I'm targeting him.
Yeah, I mean, I will too, just from what they're saying about him. The kind of load that they're talking about putting on him. Now, again, I couldn't invest too much in him. Definitely not a 1, probably not a 2, maybe the end of 2. But I mean, right there at high 3, mid 3. I think
if he makes it to the third round, that's where you're wanting to draft him.
Definitely.
You're not wanting to reach for him in the second. No real tight end to speak of. Jeff Swain.
Yeah.
He put up some numbers for the Cowboys last year. He's coming over to Jacksonville. Foles did well with Ertz when he was at the Eagles, so he targets tight ends. So Swain could be a sleeper.
He could be.
Yeah.
He could. Draft wise, though, I think he's just a guy that's he's gonna slip, and he's gonna be one of those guys that we're gonna wait and see. And so definitely. Going on to the Tennessee Titans, Mariota.
Or is it going to be Tannehill?
Or will it be Tannehill? It's definitely Mariota's job to lose.
Yeah, they have a lot invested in Marcus Mariota, and he's definitely going to get the first crack.
He is definitely going to, and I think he has the receivers there now that he can thrive with them.
Yeah.
If you can't make it with this, they're gonna.
We saw that in that first preseason game that just got played. He was leaning on Adam Humphries, and that's a type of receiver he hasn't had there. A slot receiver that can really make plays, and he leaned on him a lot. He targeted him like 5 or 6 times that first drive.
Exactly, definitely. That Adam Humphries, I really think he's going to have one of those
he's rocking
Adam
in that
Thielen type
boys.
years. Just winds up jumping up out of nowhere. Well, not out of nowhere, but
into relevance.
Exactly. Corey Davis on the other side of him.
Yeah.
Again, a lot of talk about him last year.
Boomer bust.
Boomer bust.
He had a few big games, but even more duds. And I was the person that drafted him last year, and I hung on to him for as long as I could, hoping for him to break out and have that big year that they're predicting for him. I drafted him high, 5th round, and I'm not making that mistake again. Someone else can.
Well, I mean, maybe not the 5th round, but,
Yeah.
he's definitely probably one of those 8, 9 guys. Got another receiver out there, A.J. Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't really heard too much about him, but I think it is somebody that
he was nice in college at Ole Miss.
Yes.
Him and D.K. Metcalf
Mm-hmm.
were quite the tandem in college. I think Brown may be more talented than Metcalf, so someone to look at. I wouldn't draft him. I would wait and see on him. And basically, I'd wait and see on this whole team except for Derrick Henry. I think Derrick Henry is prime for a breakout season.
Yeah, I think they've tried to fix some of those woes with the offensive line that they've had.
Right.
And so there's a lot of talk about Derrick Henry, but it's muddled. I mean,
yeah,
it is. It isn't. I mean,
last we hear in the news, he's in a walking boot
Mm-hmm.
too. That doesn't help, but hey, maybe it does help because people are going to be overlooking him a little bit more, and he's going to fall down the draft boards, and that's what I like.
you're going to be.
I'm a believer in Derrick Henry.
So you got to handcuff him with Lewis, then, correct?
Yeah, you got a handcuff.
Definitely a handcuff
Lewis.
guy.
Dion Lewis is not being drafted as high as he was last year, though, so that's good.
No, and I think that's just because they're.
The way the season ended last year,
the way the
it was
season
the Derrick
ended,
Henry show.
I mean, they're going to load. He's going to be one of those guys that I think they're going to give him a shitload of carries. I mean,
Yeah.
they're going to ride him.
Mm-hmm.
Delaney Walker, always a focal point of the Tennessee Titans offense for
All those years.
feels like for years now.
Yeah.
But
He's coming off bad injury there.
yeah, I'm not really excited about that at all. But I mean, he's been around for so long. I mean, he's kind of like that Antonio Gates type guy. If he's there, you're probably going to take a stab on him. One of those guys like me that have waited for tight ends until like the last couple rounds.
Yeah.
And just get whatever's there. And Delaney Walker hopefully could be one of those guys for somebody.
Right.
Not really anything to talk about on their defense.
Yeah, I mean, they did score some points last year. They weren't the worst defense in the world, but I'd probably stay away from them. Guess we can go ahead and move on to the AFC North.
Yeah.
If you're ready. Go ahead and jump into Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah. Jackson, man, that's a kind of a iffy thing for me as well.
They're saying they're not wanting to run him as much as they did last year, which that was his bread and butter.
And that's the spooky thing. I mean, you're going to try to get this guy to stay in the pocket, and I mean, I'm not too all thrilled about hearing that.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy, he runs his ass off. I mean,
his arm
and he looks good doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a natural, but that first preseason game that he played.
That's why I think it's fascinating the quarterbacks they have behind him.
Yeah.
I feel like they can run him, and if something goes down, then you got Robert Griffin III. You can kind of do the same kind of things with them. Of course, he's injury prone. He's not going to last long on that. Then they got that Trace McSorley. I think he's going to make that team kind of like in a role like the Saints have Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
He can do other things, and he can be that third quarterback.
Kind of one of those hybrid type guys.
Yeah.
Jumps around.
Yes, sir.
One of their key acquisitions, Mark Ingram, bringing him in. I'm kind of wish-washy on him as well.
Right. But Alex Collins had some big games for him the last couple of years. Same kind of runner. Yeah, that Gus Edwards. He's back, but he's the same kind of runner.
He is. So they
had
all
big
kind of
games.
they both image one another.
This team's going to be looking to run. And I think Ingram's going to get.
He's going to get his chances. He's going to
yeah.
get his chances, but I just, after seeing him with the Saints, man, he's gonna have to take on a different type of role, and I don't know if he's that guy. I really don't.
The receivers, they drafted Hollywood Brown from Oklahoma.
Yeah,
that guy's a stud.
And if they're talking about leaving Lamar Jackson back there in the pocket, I mean,
yeah,
he's definitely somebody to start looking at.
Mm-hmm.
They brought him in just for him.
Yeah.
I mean, new little shiny toy.
Yeah.
Crazy watching him do what he did at Oklahoma.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to see what that is.
Yeah, Marquise Brown's someone I'm targeting in drafts.
Definitely.
Yeah. The other guys, Seth Roberts, Willie Snead. Nothing to write home about. We know what these guys can do. They're good for a touchdown here and there, but I'd stay away from them.
Manageable guys, yeah.
Situation.
But definitely, streamer options later on in the year. Injuries take place, filler guys.
Right.
Their tight end, everybody keeps on talking about him.
Mark
Andrews.
Yeah.
I'm not on board with it.
He's another guy from Oklahoma that, he was big for Baker Mayfield at Oklahoma, and then last year he didn't really do too much his rookie year, but he showed some flashes, and I think he could be a good target. I'm not going to draft him. I'll wait and see if he makes it in the waivers or something like that.
Exactly. Same thing with his counterpart, Hayden Hurst. That's just going to be a battle in between those two, and I think the better blocker winds up winning, just because of them wanting to run the ball out there with that offense they always run, and trying to protect Lamar Jackson as well.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, let's go ahead and move on to Cincinnati. Cincinnati has some. They got some work to do.
They got more than work to do.
Yeah.
They just need to call the doctor now and just have them, completely on standby.
Right.
Because this team is falling apart, and they're falling apart fast.
Yeah. AJ Green.
Yeah.
Going down right at the beginning of camp. Right. Just.
Definitely going to miss a few games.
That's tough.
That is really tough.
Because that makes them. They're going to go ahead and double team Tyler Boyd on the other side over there.
So he's going to get to show the world whether or not he is a number one receiver.
Right.
And I do like him.
Last year. Yeah,
I do like him.
Yeah.
But, man, they're not going to have any help out there whatsoever.
Yeah.
John Ross
to live up to that hype, the fastest man in the combine.
I think he's dealing with an injury right now.
That's been his story since he got drafted.
Completely.
Even at the combine, after he ran that 40, he got hurt.
Yeah.
He got hurt running that huge 40 and still got drafted high. And
And quite honestly, there's not a lot to talk about with Cincinnati. You have Joe Mixon. He's definitely probably somebody I'm going to wind up staying away from too. You load the box up.
Yeah. All out stop Joe Mixon.
Yeah.
You're
put down Tyler Boyd, and who do you have to?
You got Tyler. Eifert coming back. He's another injury prone. That's right. You said have the doctors on call.
Yeah.
This could get ugly.
I think they're the worst team in the National Football League this year.
I'm right behind you on that.
I could see this team. Hopefully,
especially with this division,
for them to win 3 games.
With this division, yeah.
It's not happening.
I don't think they're going to win a game in the division.
The Bengals are probably, unless Joe Mixon just slips, AJ Green slips, Tyler Boyd slips. I'm
staying away.
Yeah, I'm probably just going to take their stickers off the and just throw them, crumble them up, throw them away. I don't need
if I could get Joe Mixon in the 4th round, I'd take him. But he's a second rounder. He's going the second round.
Somebody's going to jump out there and get him.
Yeah.
But it's just.
I'm with you on staying away from him.
It's not going to be me.
Right.
And I'm not saying he's going to have a horrible year. He's going to be the guy that's going to be the focal point. Give him the ball. Let him do his thing. I could see him going down with injury. Didn't he have an injury last year as well?
He missed a couple games. He didn't. It was about 3 or 4 games.
And they brought him back too early. And
You got Giovanni Bernard. You got Mark Walton, right?
Yeah, I read up about him a little bit, but again, I don't know too much about him, and I just, man, I don't know why I keep talking about it because I'm not drafting anybody from them.
Let's just go ahead and move on to the Cleveland Browns.
The Cleveland Browns, man.
This team right here.
This is gonna be exciting.
LSU up north.
Yeah. Same thing. Everybody else, every other person has been saying every year, this is their year. This is their year.
This is Cleveland.
This is it. This is it. We're finally going to see a year where
firmly
Cleveland can shine.
entrenched on the Cleveland bandwagon, and I'm looking to draft every Cleveland Brown player possible. I'm looking to draft Odell. I'm looking to draft Jarvis.
It's going to be exciting.
Baker.
It's going to be exciting.
David Njoku, Nick Chubb.
I mean, I'm not going to lie to you.
It's healthy. The situation is healthy for once. Like you just said, it's bleak in Cincinnati is thriving in Cleveland.
Exactly. I mean, just right down the interstate. I mean, there it is.
Mm-hmm.
And man, Baker Mayfield, I think he's going to have a huge year.
Absolutely.
He is just looking better and better every day. He has Landry, and now you add Beckham to it.
Yeah,
good
Odell,
God
Beckham
Almighty!
Jr. That's a huge pickup.
Chubb is just going to be a focal point of the run game.
And then they got Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
Who after week 10 will be back in the fold.
That's right. Week 10. But man, I think that can be a little bit of trade bait for some of these teams that might be needing a running back. I mean, you're not going to get him
right
away, but
they were kind of smart to scoop him up, when they did.
They were.
Mm-hmm.
Now, whether or not they're going to hang on to him is yet to be seen. I think it's the Nick Chubb show out there.
I think with them getting rid of Duke Johnson, it shows a lot of faith in Nick Chubb, but it also shows their commitment to Kareem Hunt when he comes back. They do have that other running back,
Hilliard.
Hilliard, and he's looked good. He looked good in that preseason game.
And that's what I'm saying. I mean,
that probably has more to do with him trading Duke.
It is, and then you got Hunt. I could see them pushing him away, maybe adding something else to that defense, or bringing in another weapon on offense. I mean, I can't really.
Their defense is stout too. That's a defense I'm looking forward to in fantasy.
Yeah.
Myles Garrett.
I mean, how many first-round picks can you possibly absorb throughout the years before you wind up with a team like this?
Yeah. It's finally all there for them. Let's see if they can put it together and finally make the playoffs and do something.
A couple more receivers. I mean, Callaway and Higgins.
Higgins.
Which one of them is suspended to begin with?
Callaway.
Callaway?
Yeah.
Higgins showed out really good in that first preseason games.
Right.
I'm really excited about seeing this, and I'm not going to lie.
David Njoku is a tight end I'm going to be targeting.
Yeah.
There too, because he's going to get a lot of wide open space out there with them receivers and that running back. They're going to, I think, Njoku's in for a big year as well.
Man, with those receivers out there, they may not even need a damn tight end,
Right.
I mean,
Njoku's just an extension of it. He has tight end or wide receiver skills at the tight end
exactly.
position.
I mean, like I was trying to say, man, I'm holding the number 2 spot in our draft, and I am like this close to saying it's going to be Odell Beckham at the number 2 in our dynasty keeper.
Hey. That's not a bad pick.
Well, it's not.
I mean, it is a little bit of a reach from where he's going in most drafts.
It is, but I won't have another pick until pick 25. So, I mean, got to get it while you can. A lot of the better running backs are going to be held on people's teams, whatnot. But moving on to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Another team I think that a lot of people are going to like. A lot of names that are going to be pulled off of that team.
Yeah. Big Ben.
Big Ben,
still
always.
Leading the ship.
Everybody's going to wind up drafting. He's going to be on somebody's team at all times.
Right.
Now that
Juju. It's the Juju show. No more Antonio Brown hogging the spotlight. it's firmly entrenched on Juju Smith-Schuster, and let's see what he does this year.
Can he do it?
Yeah.
Can he do it? Can he be that guy?
All those targets Antonio Brown is leaving behind, some of them are going to go to Juju. He's going to have even more opportunity now to shine when he's shined so far in the league. And
he has with AB on that other side.
Yeah, true.
I mean, he gets a lot of the attention, and it opened it up for Juju. That's all the way I felt about it.
Now it's with Dante Moncrief on the other side.
Well,
or James Washington.
Man, after watching that preseason game of theirs, man, they're gonna have depth at receiver.
Yeah.
So a lot of those concerns that I had with Juju, all the attention being on him, James Washington, Moncrief,
Eli Rogers, someone who's been there a while.
A Ryan Switzer type guy that is like a Cole Beasley that everybody knows of. So the receivers are going to be there.
Right.
I've cranked my Juju liking up a bit more too, because again I was kind of worried about him, but no, it's going to be good.
And then you got James Conner returning at running back. Someone who should have been on your team last year, but you didn't handcuff Bell.
I did not.
Yeah, that's
brutal. I did not. And that probably is why I'm picking number 2 like I was trying to talk about. But, yeah, that's just, more of that heartache pouring out of me right there. But it's a new year. Here we go. Yeah, James Conner, he's going to be the workhorse feller out there?
Absolutely. I don't see why not.
Can his body hold up to it in the same way that they like to, they did it to Bell for those years?
I mean, it held up for the most part last year. He didn't really
miss.
For the most part. At the very end, he kind of missed a few games. Then they had Jalen Samuels come in.
I think they're talking about working him into that offense a little bit, making a little more room for him.
I mean, he's a guy who has more of that Le'Veon Bell skill set than Conner had. But, I mean, Conner stepped into that role and did it very well. So, I mean, I don't see any reason why Conner isn't still the guy.
Oh, no, definitely. Conner is the guy.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's just I would like to see how they're going to use Samuels in that offense, because he's going to get some looks.
Right.
Tight end, Vance McDonald.
Jesse James.
No, I thought he left.
Oh.
I thought he was gone.
Yikes. Sorry about that, guys.
Man, I really like this team.
Yeah. He is gone. It is Vance McDonald's show then, because I was worried about Jesse James. Where did he go? Does anyone know?
No.
It doesn't matter.
No, because Vance McDonald was the guy I think everybody was kind of looking at out there.
True.
Just kind of those.
I think he went to the 49ers. That's what I heard. Yeah. Jesse James on the 49ers.
Well, there you go. You heard it here first.
And if he's not,
probably
he should
not.
be. Because I'm a fan. Yep.
Yeah. So, man, again, I really like this team. I think a lot of names are going to come off of it. Really excited to see that wide receiving group.
Yeah. Well, guys, I think that pretty much wraps up the AFC for fantasy this year. Thanks for tuning in to Talking Up Sports, and we'll catch you next time.
And always remember, life's hard. It's even harder when you're stupid.